And I managed not to print out you'd think I'd remember it by now, but the agenda.
I actually downloaded it from the city website. So call to order, followed by roll call.
Which seems to be David, Rich, John, Eric, me. Um, so that is a quorum. Um,
Acceptance of minutes.
oh, we just had one mistake, I believe. The interesting spelling of Patsy Bresh's name. Brescher should be Bresc. Now I can't. IA. Capital B, of course.
Move to accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public participation.
It looks like we have one member of the public on tonight. If you'd like to use the public comment section, use the raise your hand feature and we'll bring you over to speak. We have Diane Cece. You just have to unmute.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good evening and Happy New Year to all of you. I am hopping on tonight in interest of the item for the demolition delay ordinance and the outline procedures. I understand Bill Ireland is going to make a presentation and a walkthrough of this. I don't know if you want some comments now on some of the notes that I've taken on this, or after his presentation, or if I can just email something in afterwards. I can just preface that by saying I've gone through what was posted in the agenda for this week, and I still have a bunch of questions on who does what and when. So I'm still not entirely clear as I go through each of these steps. It may become clearer after Mr. Ireland does his presentation, so I don't want to waste anyone's time. Whatever the chair thinks is the best approach.
So go ahead now, and if you have any other questions, you can email them.
I'm sorry. Say again. Dana.
Go ahead with your commentary now, and then email any further questions.
Gotcha. Okay. And I don't know if all of you have copies of this in front of you. Maybe just easier to kind of follow along like we did last time. But on item number 2 of the public handout, it says that the structure would be at least 70 years old under this consideration. And I wanted to know, first of all, I agree. I think you got the comments that you got from Todd Bryant and NPT suggested 50 years old, because that's also the national standard as well. But my question here was, who is making the determination on the age and which records specifically are they using? Is that from the building department? Is it the tax department? Is it field card? My second question, the item number 3, where the applicant completes the pre-demolition application, all of the things on there, I'm assuming are actually part of any application, not just something that is 70 years old and possibly subject to the delay. Because it says if any of the conditions of the ordinance apply, it would continue to the pre-demolition application process. And then listed under that are all the things that we would expect, the public would expect to see on the demolition, the application for the demolition itself. So that's a little bit unclear. On the next page, it says that the applicant would mail, certified, and email the application to the Historical Commission, Director of Planning and Zoning, and anyone else who's requested it. Doesn't the building department automatically refer those over to all 3 of those entities? Okay, just wanted some clarification on that so that we know it's going to the Historical commission one way or the other. On the next item, on item 5, the applicant must certify completion within 14 days of all of their steps. Item 3 says if it's complete, the application is deemed filed. How do we know? And when I'm saying we, it's going to be the public here. What's a trigger that the public would know that something is deemed filed and that's the start date? And then that leads into the next item, item 6, a 21-day objection period. Once it's deemed filed, again, how do we know the start date? When you say there's a 21-day window from there, I'm not clear. Like if you're just looking at me, how would I know that? And I am one of the geeks who reads the legals and follows agendas and calls people, and I still would have no clue that this would be there and a window had opened. But more importantly, I don't know that I saw any other ordinances in my research for item number 2 that you have there under paragraph 6, where it says the objection must claim that the structure is historically or architecturally significant. Again, the public is looking to our historic commission to actually determine that. And so I think the trigger should actually just be the very fact that Bill Ireland's department is referring over to you something that met one of the other conditions, being the 50 years or the 70 years old. Why would a member of the public be charged with having to, and when you say claim, I don't know what claim means. Is that something that's proof, or someone can just say, I'm claiming that this is architecturally significant? We don't know. We're looking to you folks to determine it based on something coming to you that's of a specific age. Okay. And then on item 8, if an objection is filed, again, I think that it's kind of dropping here in the steps about first. I think first it would be the historic commission that would actually stop something and impose a delay based on their own findings. This sounds as if there wouldn't ever be a delay unless someone from the public in any capacity actually filed an objection. And I think that needs to be clear, that the objection can actually come from the historic commission upon your initial review once Bill refers something to you. And then where it says if something at the next meeting or sooner, then the commission would determine whether the building is significant under the definitions that are elsewhere. And if not significant, they would lift the delay and the permit would be issued. Under that scenario, who would notify the objector if there was a public objector, and when would they be notified? And how would they be notified? Because then there would be an appeal process, potentially. I'll talk about the appeal process in a second, though. Under the third-party review process, I think you talked about this a couple of times at the meeting, and we talked about budgets and stuff. But for the item for where it says if the commission requests it, a qualified preservation professional would be hired, and then it says and paid for by the city. But I know in other departments within the city, peer reviews that are done for your benefit are typically covered by the applicant. So if you require a review by a professional, then typically you would require the applicant to pay for it. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying that that's how it works in the rest of the city. And I'm not sure, I'm sure this would be a nominal budget anyway. My point I made a couple of meetings ago too is that you keep a group of, say, 3 rotating professionals that you can call upon, and then you just cycle through your availability, etc. Number 13, we spoke about this a couple of meetings ago too, with the violations and fines. I felt that the 30,000 maximum fine or 10% of the assessed value, whichever is less, didn't seem to really have any teeth to it. I think that can be reconsidered, maybe check some other ordinances. And then under appeals, it says any aggrieved person may appeal within 10 days. And I really don't think, even based on what we talked about a minute ago with how would they even be notified of the decision. And then the 10 days is typically calendar days. If the decision is posted on a Thursday, you have the weekends in between there. It doesn't seem reasonable. It's an issue that we have with other city departments and state statutes as well. But I noticed that the ordinance committee just approved a 30-day appeal process under the Complete Streets ordinance. This just happened this week or last week. And so I believe that state statutes allow you to also extend appeals out a bit further. Not necessarily the 30 days, but I think 10 days is inadequate. Those are my comments. In addition to the ones I've given at prior meetings, we're getting closer and closer to a flow chart, which is great. And I saw the date timeline too, and I think there's some gaps in there. And I'm just super anxious. I'm going to stay on and I'm going to listen to my friend Bill Ireland, who I see there on the screen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Cece. Okay, Eric, my agenda holder. And unmute yourself. Thank you. Now I can't lip read. Can anyone else lip read?
Eric, you're on mute.
I'll never make that mistake again. Reports from boards. So we start with the Historical Society.
Oh, yeah.
Diane.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to talk about some things that are coming up with the Historical Society. Eric has already started with our upcoming event in February on Valentine's Day. Hopefully it won't snow, but we do have a snow date. And it is February 15th, and it's called The Courtship of George Washington and Martha Custis. So we're going to have historical presenters do a reenactment of the story of the first couple and their courting. So it will be Michael and Maria Grillo. They're very well known. It should be fun. We will have some tea with some light snacks, and it is at 2:00 at Mill Hill Historic Park. So we're excited about that, and that's one of the first events that's going to kick off the Norwalk 250 event in the city. So that is our first one. And we have been we had a couple of meetings with the city and other organizations to talk about what we will all be doing for Norwalk 250. And Eric is part of that. And so we're getting very excited about what's going to be happening. And then in March 7th, which is Saturday, again at Mill Hill, we are going to have a lecture and a speaker on schoolgirl samplers. And if you have not been to the Norwalk Historical Society Museum recently, we actually found 12 different samplers and embroideries that have been into the collection. And a lot of them are from the 1800s, early 20th century. And they are absolutely gorgeous. So we will be bringing a few of them over to Mill Hill to talk about. And that is going to be, again, 2:00 on March 7th at Mill Hill. And again, part of our America 250. And the other event that we're going to have in March is on March 21st. And it's to talk about the 19th Amendment, and that's for women and the right to vote. So this is Women's History Month, is in March. So we're going to have Mark Alberson. He's going to be talking about the amendment for women. So there's a lot of activities going on right now. And we hope that you all will be able to come to one or more of our events. And there will be events happening throughout the city, just to let you know, for Black History Month, which starts on February 1st. And this is going to be the 100th anniversary for Black History celebrations. So there are many things that are happening, and most of them are going to be posted on Connecticut Visit, CT Visit. If you don't know about that, that's where we're all starting to post what's going on in Norwalk. Any questions?
No, sounds very interesting.
Okay, Lockwood Matthews and Doug and Susan can fight over it.
I think Doug asked me to go first, so here I am. So we are putting together a wonderful calendar of events. Part of it is, of course, celebrating America 250, and but we have other programs as well. So on February 19th, we launch an art competition for students called How I See America's 250. This will be a young artist competition inspired by the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence. And the winners will get to collect prizes, but also exhibit their work at the mansion with an award presentation. So I think that will make it really enticing for students and exciting as a project. On March 12th, we have a new exhibit opening. It's called A Journey of Hope, and it's the Irish American immigrant experience. We are getting loans from Quinnipiac University and also the Irish Hunger Museum in Fairfield. They have a really, they have a magnificent collection of artworks, both contemporary as well as from the 1800s, and also sculptures. Being that the mansion servants in the 1800s were primarily Irish or Irish American, we thought that it would be wonderful to celebrate the Irish American month with this exhibition. On April 19, we have a very exciting talk featuring Eric Chandler, Connecticut in the American Revolution. We can't wait for this for this talk, and I think that our audience will be very, very excited as well. We are organizing a tea. We still have the speaker under wraps because we still have to get the confirmation that he's available. But that will be on May 3rd, and it will be a very, very lavish and beautiful tea, seating up to 100 people, and we really look forward to having you there. That for now, those are the programs that have been confirmed, but we do have one last program which we are hoping to get funding for, and that would be an exhibition that explores the Lockwoods and the Matthews family ancestry, because one of our volunteers, together with our curatorial consultant, has looked into it, and it looks like they were related to some of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. And so we're very excited about that. That could extend the history of the mansion. And if we manage to put it together, we find funding, it could be an exhibition that we can keep on display for many years to come. Do you have any questions? All right.
Sounds
Thanks so
exciting.
much. Thank
Eric?
you.
Eric, you're stuck with me too, Eric.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
All right.
Okay, we
Nope.
go to committees reports.
Doug, have anything to add?
Buildings.
If
We're
Doug-
finding out
Okay.
why they did not spend winters in that mansion.
Oh.
I remember why.
Yeah. We knew why, but they were smart enough to stay in their offices with a portable heater, even with all the work that's done. I don't know if I can't remember whether you were updated that we had lost heat in a section of the building because one of the lines underground under a slab leaked. All right, and we've been out for a few weeks. They had to dig up part of the floor and then run the new line overhead. We just got heat back on yesterday in certain sections, but it is a very drafty building. So it's funny, you have heat on now, then you notice the cold more than ever. Here it goes, our first winter open, and what is it we do? We get record-breaking temperatures for a streak of what? Going to be 2 weeks by the time this finishes? Go figure, folks. But I can't. I can't thank the city enough. If you see any of the DPW guys, the Park and Recs guys, they've done a wonderful job removing the snow off the grounds. They did a great job this one, and we closed like everybody else for a couple of days, but they were there and they did a great job. Hope you can support all our requests that we're putting into the city. I know the capital money and some operating money. Appreciate all the support that you can do. We have a lot going on, and we're going to do our own preliminary rewriting our 5-year plan. We're going to do a SWOT and all that. Our plan was up the end of the last year, and we're in the process of writing a new one. All right. And thank you for all your works. And Bill Ireland, hello to you, Bill Ireland. So.
I just wanted to add, if you needed for the Lockwood genealogy or the Matthews, I'm in the Daughters of American Revolution, so I have access to the database. If there's names that you want, me to look up and have any additional information that might be there that public can't access, I could do
That would be great. Thank you, Lisa.
That'd be great.
That'd
Yep.
be really
Thank you.
wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, committee reports, buildings.
Not a whole lot going on. The facilities is about to finish. Well, purchasing is about to issue an RFQ for architectural services for the redesign of the museum basement that we've been working on for some time. Is the next step on that project. And I'm doing the final review of the specifications for the interior renovation of the jail, and hopefully that will go out to bid in the next couple of months. I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else. Buildings.
Cemeteries?
Nothing I know of.
Can't
Financials?
tell.
I haven't walked them in over a month, so.
Okay, so new business, demolition permit walkthrough by Bill Ireland. Take it away, Bill.
How are you? So I'm going to start with the intent to demolish application, which is a pre-demo application, which sometimes is mistaken for a demolition permit, which it's not. Michelle's putting it up. We'll take it step by step.
You guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so as it states there, permits must be obtained before beginning of work. This is just an intent to demolish with a initial submission date with the district block and lot, and what determines this permit to be issued or application to be issued is information received from the tax assessor, which is the age of the building on the property, which right now is 50 years 50 years old. Then you have, as you follow it up there, district block and lot, which is identifies that property, and then an application to demolish and what you intend to demolish with this pre-demo, the amount of stories, the square footage. Again, we go back to the year built, and that is all provided by the tax assessor and how they tax that property. Location and street number. Then we go to the owner, the address of the owner, phone number, who the demolition contractor is, phone number, address, the demolition contractor's license number, expiration date, insurance carrier, the dump site, the carting company. Now, what has to accompany this is the next set there where it says a photo, the tax assessor sheet, which we pull all the information off of, address of adjoining properties, just the adjoining, not across the street, side, left, side, right, and rear if possible, if it is. The plot plan, a newspaper publication, which goes into legal, a sworn statement, which we'll follow up with about adhering to the rules of this intent, the sign on the property, and then a state Department of Health demo notification form, which we provide them with, which would be returned to us by the time of the demolition permit being issued, with a fee, and again, cash check, and we fill in the check number, owner's signature, date, my signature, and that it would be the deemed file date. So if you go to the top again and you see the initial submission date with an inspector's signature, that inspector's signature does not have to be me. That would be the person who is writing this application up at the time. That initial submission date, if everything is in order, we could go immediately to the deemed file date, which you see at the bottom, or almost to the bottom. And then we have there on this is not a demolition permit. Are there written objections? And that would come if we receive anything, or just us. We don't know what the other commissions or whoever requested the information. I would fill in the 21-day demolition date at this time. I would then put in the 120-day date if an objection were raised. So that's where this form stays. Are there any questions on this? Good.
No.
Good.
Okay. Now the next form we're going to go to is the certificate of the demolition ordinance compliance, and this is that certified, the location, the applicant's signature, the date, adhering to that everything is true and accurate for the notice of evidence and publication, and under oath given and made subject to all penalties of the law for false statements. It's sworn before whomever the notary is or the commissioner of court, and the date of expiration. This has to submit the application at the time. If any of these, what we're talking about right now, is not done, this application is not accepted. But the initial date stays, so they have 14 days to get it straightened out and resubmit it to going back to the deemed file date. Okay, that's this paper. What we have here is what they received for the state. Well, okay, we'll go to that if you want. This is the demolition. What Michelle put is the application instructions, what they have to follow. Owners of the properties, the structure is being demolished. I'm on B now. I mean, A is pretty well what would read in the Hour or whatever paper, local paper, the Advocate, notice of intent to demolish. It only has to run for 1 day with the following information. Notice of the intent to all property owners adjoining the property. Again, the Historical Commission by email. Dana, the Preservation Trust, Todd, the Executive Director of Planning and Zoning, Steve Kleppen, Jordan Sorensen, Historic Preservation is email, and then Diane with the East Norwalk .org, East Norwalk Association. These are the people that requested. Anyone who requested will receive this application. The date we put on the deemed file date. The sign is the same, which there's a size of the sign. It must be placed on the property where it's visible from the street or access way of joining the property. The size of it, what must be included, the size of the lettering. The sign would then remain for the completion of all demolition activities authorized by the permit. And a photo of the sign is taken and submitted to the building department again at the time of the pre-demolition application being filed. Then the appointment to obtain a pre-demo permit, you must submit the photo, current photo of the building or structure, the tax assessor sheet, as we stated, names and addresses again, copy of the newspaper publication. The State Department of Health is in the packet. They don't have to get it back to us. The state gets it back to us. And the sworn statement in the demolition packet. And then this here is the ordinance. As it is right now, with the size of everything that's included, what the details are, the specifications are for the application to be filled out and what we're expecting from the applicant. Goes into the violations, the lapse of a permit, etc. Then this is the notification form, the demolition notification form that goes to the state health, and it's filled out with pertinent information that the health department from the state is concerned about.
So every applicant
Gets
this done.
Yeah, this should be filed even with the demo permit. This is filed, but this is given to them now because when the demo permit comes to us, we have it. Now, there's one thing we don't have control over is the state, and I know we've run into this in certain instances with asbestos. And there'd be a home with asbestos siding, and they want to have it removed, and we have no control of that. If the state tells them to remove it for health reasons, they can remove it. So I know we've had things like that crop up. It seems to have calmed down a little bit because people do agree to wait, but we have no real anchor on that. If the state says no, you can go ahead and do it. So most people adhere to it, but I think we have a few people who keep popping up with their renovations that don't. This is the application to demolish. And this is the permit that's needed to take the building down. Again, whoever's issuing it, on the right side is the inspector's initials. On the left side is the date this application is being filed. Again, we go to the district block and lot like we saw on the intent to demolish paper. Number of stories, the size, a lot of this is repetition. Main or an accessory building, it could be both. The address, location, what streets it's between, who is the owner, address, city, state, zip, their phone, the demolition contractor. Now, what you saw on the yellow paper or the yellow application where it might have said demo contractor, by the time of permit application, that contractor could change. Because people go out there and get prices or whatever they do, but the contractor could change. All we worry about is his license type, his number, the insurance, the dump site, the carting. The asbestos would be a hygienist report if it was present. A hygienist report would also tell us that it was not there and that it didn't need anything. Who the company was that did the abatement. The notification form, which is again what we're talking about here, that was given to them on the pre-demo, and then attached the letters from the public utilities that were pertinent to that building, like SNET, which is no longer around, with the phone, Pioneer, the electric, cable, sewer, gas, water, field sheet and photo, which we already have from the intent to demolish form. It then goes into the estimated cost of the demo, the fees incorporated with it. They have to go to the Conservation Commission to make sure, or the inspector, we should say, environmental officer, to make sure it's not a wetland. And if it is, if they need a permit from them prior to the demolition. And then underneath the final would be completely removed. No material shall be placed upon the floor of building. Bricks, timbers, part of each story shall be lowered to the ground immediately upon displacement. Material shall be removed. When the building structure is over 40 feet in height, a cover chute shall be provided, but that again is we're into a demolition of a commercial building, and if it's adjacent to other properties close. After the above demolition is completed, we go out and inspect. I inspect it before the hole is backfilled to make sure this debris is not put in the hole and totally carted off. There is permitted fill, that, you know, the concrete, the brick, and things like that. Asphalt is a no-no. Of course, the wood, etc. And then we would issue that would be signed by the contractor and the owner. And then I would verify that with my signature on the bottom with a date. And this is again, it's handed to the applicant at the time when they come in for the permit. And to follow all this, this is for the demolition permit, not the intent to demolish permit. To follow this, these orders here, these 10 steps. The licensing is issued by the state of Connecticut. There's nothing local. The state issues that license. And there's different degrees of license. One is for residential, commercial, high rise. So we have to adhere to what license is being used for the use and the application. Is there any question?
Yeah, I had a question, Bill.
Yes.
It's Lisa Grant. What is being done differently when somebody renovates a space? Like, I'm thinking specifically about the Willow Street, the oldest house in Norwalk disaster that they went in with, they were going to renovate and then they went and demolished, you know, most of it.
Yes.
So it had to come down. I'm not sure what we're doing differently to avoid that situation. I know in what you just scanned through over there, it says sort of in part thereof. Are any of these things also brought into the renovation of an older home? And are there more eyes on the project because it's an older home?
Anything interior, there are no requirements. There's nothing in the ordinance as it stands for interior work. There's also, I believe, a percentage. I would usually, I think, and it's been seen, and I think presented to the commission in certain instances where questions are asked, is it really going to affect, you know, a percentage like a dormer coming off or things like that, which is a small percentage of the house. I believe they use 50%. Strict. Now, what happened here was,
Well, they had an excavator.
this happened on a
construction
Sunday.
Second
I'm sorry.
floor. Yeah.
This happened on a Sunday, and just so happened my son lived next door, and he sent me a picture. Dad, is this, can this take place? And I went over there immediately and stopped the job, and it was literally too late. Fines took place, but again, the structure came down. There was nothing in place then. That's there now for the amount, like Diane said, the 30,000 and the percentage of the value of the house or the property. What happens with most of that is when we received our fine, but what he ended up having to pay because we wouldn't let him take the debris away, and he had to load all the demolition materials, and it had to go to a special site in Pennsylvania, which cost him almost $100,000 because they considered the whole site contaminated. There are things in place now. Todd Bryant, myself, Tom Livingston sat down to incorporate after that took place, stiffer penalties. And I know those penalties are out there. The last time I went to the state and informed the demolition contractor's license, and he had to deal with the state and pay fines to the state for doing what he did. And he stood to lose his license, but if he does one more violation, whatever you wish to call it, not only just in this town or any town, his livelihood is gone, and he'd never would be given another license because they're very, very strict on demolition licenses with the state. Things do happen, and what it is you got to hurt them in the pocketbook to really teach a lesson, and word gets out fast once it does happen. Up here was blatant, and there was a lot of lies told, but it was just, we had pictures of it. I think I still might have my son took them on his phone, and it was, they just put that backhoe in the middle of that house and pulled it down. So it's unfortunate.
I think, I mean, I don't know. There seems like in retrospect, there was a little bit of clues going on there too with when they planted the green giant arborvitaes around the perimeter so nobody can see what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
There's things like that, if they're trying to like obscure a bit, it might raise a red flag, I would think.
It's hard, that's a hard thing to do because we're just guessing, and you have to actually see it happen. It's all like hearsay that, we think it's happening. And it's tough to point the finger, and then how do you keep, patrolling it to see what happens and what they're doing. And some people are innocent and about it, and then they turn around and they'll contact an attorney, and all of a sudden you're being picked, they're being picked on or something, and there's lawsuits involved. It's a ticklish situation, and I think everybody is aware of things like that happening and what would happen to somebody if, you just associate somebody being guilty and they're not. We just had in a different instance with blight, and I don't want to change the subject, and we had a fine assessed, and I still look at the property and I call it blight. And I think we're going to start again and try again, but we had a fine there of, I believe, $112,000. And we went to court, and the judge really let us have it for, you can't do that to this person. That's his house, and blah, 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 blah. And it ended up, all they gave us, he said, pay a $2,500 fine in your fund, and everything's good. And we still have the neighbor coming to us and say it's blight, but yet we have a court order saying, no, you're wrong. And that judge was, oof. I mean, it wasn't pleasant to sit through that.
Right. Well, and then that's a whole nother tactic with I'm just talking about historic homes. I'm not talking
No.
about
Yeah, that's
things
in general.
But I guess historic homes might need to have, a little bit more, looking over what's going on there, because it could be that they're trying to let it go so bad, so then it has to come down.
Right. Well, I was for something where even in homes are little, I'm going to blight, but just in a way what you're saying, people let their homes run down to pay less tax. And maybe it go the opposite, pay more tax or whatever. And everyone's got to misconception, you know, because we say there's a fine, we don't collect the fine. It has to go to court. I mean, the judge will decide if someone's going to pay a fine or not us. So we could say, yeah, there's a fine for blah, blah, blah. And then it goes to court like this happened. And that's the only way you collect is a judge agreeing and saying, you know, we put a lien on the property, et cetera, but a judge has to, you know, agree that it's justified and is no matter what the rules say about so much a day or so much for this or so much for that, the judge is the final decision. So again, you can put any number on anything, but just because it's there doesn't mean we collect it.
I just had one sort of a technical question. What is the CO fee on the demolition form?
It's one. Okay, I'll go over the COs for the compliance letter.
Okay.
So you have the fee itself is $25 per $1,000 of work of demolition, and the compliance letter is $50, and that's where you get your total at the end.
Okay. Thanks.
Anything else?
I just wanted to say a comment on one of the things Diane brought up, and I think potentially it being more streamlined or straightforward with the timeline. This, as some of you may know, the city is looking at a permitting software, and demolition will probably be a part of that. And when people are making applications on that platform, they will be more public stamped times online. So some of the points that Diane Cece had brought up, those answers of like, oh, when is that timeline is in Bill's folder with the information that he has of where that applicant is in the timeline. So, I mean, yeah, it's not like residents could go on in real time and like see where all these permits are at.
Again, I have no idea what they're giving us, but everything that will be issued on a property, you go to the property address or district block and lot, and all that information is supposed to be there.
Like in the field card?
Pardon?
In the field? Right now?
No, it's not there now.
In
No,
the-
I'm talking about the new system coming
Okay.
in.
Right. Yeah.
The new system coming in.
So I think that might help
Right.
clarity on timeline.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, to me, there are quite a few issues and they're all pretty much, I don't want to say something's illegitimate, but they're all, I think, viable to having something run smooth and you know, nothing is without some type of hiccup in there, but a lot of it's by, you know, when this was put together, and again, it was a lot of federal and state with statutes and what you could do and the protection of a property. I mean, like Todd and I, we had one where we actually brought the state down. This is for an historical home up by Silver Mine Tavern. Yeah, I think that was Kings Highway, I believe. And the state, I forget who the two people that came down, we met them on the property, and they basically said, this is this man's domain. The house came down. They didn't, you know, do anything to assist us. And we had the 120-day delay on it, et cetera. And Todd brought these people down, and they were very nice, and they walked through the house, and it was like, so the fellow got to take it down and build a new one. And that was, I think it was a stage stop or something like that. They had it, it was a stagecoach stop and whatever. And it was based because it was single family. So I don't know. And it's because they, and it's because they went through the 120-day delay. They said
They waited out.
right.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill and Michelle. I'm a new member, John Casano. I'm catching up on what you're saying about this, the delay, the demolition delay. the protocols and what the city's put together. And it sounds as though there was, in originating these materials, research regarding what other towns are doing or what other states do. Is that how this was put together initially? Or was that a very long time ago? Or maybe that never happened? It's just written afresh.
I was not part of the original, so I could not answer that question. I think Todd Bryant might have been. You know, he's very involved with this and these type of things. I know the state was involved to get some time frames, etc. I don't know if the law department who composed this ordinance talked to other towns or not. I couldn't answer that, but I know
years ago. It sounds like
right. I know it just wasn't thrown together because as they talk about what town does this and what town does that, they agreed to go to the 50 days because that was the federal guideline. Certain towns, I believe, New Canaan has no delay. Believe it or not, one of those towns have, unless they change, had no delay at all. Darien or New Canaan, one of the two, no delay at all. So that was a surprise.
Yeah, especially New Canaan loves their historic architecture, so that would be a big surprise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm just curious as to how all this got put together and what resources we could use to help, refresh it and make it more useful and effective for Norwalk. So thanks.
For David, when you joined the Historical Commission, I was already on. And as I recall, there was a bare bones demolition delay ordinance at that time. Am I correct?
No, it's the same one we have currently. We made a change. The only thing we changed was they had a 60-day delay, and we changed it to, is it currently 90? Yeah, it's currently 90. Is it 120? We changed it to 120. I think we changed it to 90, and I think we got it changed to 120. And we really need to get it to 180 because that's the thing that makes the most difference.
But gradually over time, I mean, we've revisited this ordinance a few times, and gradually, we've put a little more teeth in it. It's been like baby teeth, but we've tried to make it at least a little more robust as we've gone along.
Yeah, yes.
What about the 180 from the 120 makes the difference, David, in your view? I just want to understand that position.
So it's mostly whenever there's a developer trying to do something, not a homeowner has more responsibility, but when a developer buys a property and they want to develop it, time matters to them because they have money invested, they're not getting a return. So if they're facing a potentially 180-day delay, that's a significant period of time. And as we know, in 180 days, the world can be a very different place than we imagine it from where we're sitting today. So that's the biggest thing. When it was 60 days, it's like, screw it, we'll just wait it out. But 180 days is long enough that will make them think twice. And that's what's in the state statute as the maximum. The state put it there for a well thought out reason, and that is why.
Right.
And in my experience when I was chair and fighting demolitions everywhere for all these apartments and all this stuff with developers, the length of delay made a huge difference. So,
and it's not to say that the 180 days is required for everything. We can decide within 14 days or whatever that something merits or does not merit, right? Like it is the max amount of time that we have to decide something, basically.
So, well, it's the amount of time we have to delay the demolition and to hold a public hearing. But I can tell you, particularly on most of the residential projects and some of the residential projects anyway, we whenever we realized that there was not, if we would often, not all, I mean, there just hasn't been many cases. I mean, when,
Right.
Michelle looked back 5 years, it was 12 delays. That's
Right.
what we have to get the council people to understand. But the thing is, I lost my train of thought. We often negotiate for documentation or to save some historical piece of the building or whatever. And then as soon as we have that agreement, we release the delay and say, go ahead. And that can happen within 2 weeks after the delay is started, or it can happen at the end. But, there's been a bunch of times that we've gone to Bill and say, hey, we have a deal, or, just go ahead and release this delay. We don't punish people, just for the fun of it. It's if it makes sense.
Right. And if something doesn't pass a sniff test or reach level of merit from an objection, like, we can move on that.
Well, the objections are considered differently when somebody files an objection, which is nearly always the North Preservation Trust. And it is an interesting idea of why do we even have to do that Diane brought up, of let's just assess it. I mean, what would typically happen is that Todd and a couple of people from the Historical Commission would discuss it and say, yes, this is worth imposing a delay or not. And if there was a delay, sometimes we'd let it go, or the Historical Commission would vote on it and say, yeah, we want a delay, or no, we don't. And then it would immediately be lifted. And they're, say, go ahead, have fun, tear it down. So it's not, it's to me, it's in such rare cases when this actually happens. But when it does happen, at the end of the day, when they wait it out, they can still tear it down no matter what.
Well, and in that
the only weapon we have is the long
creative
delay.
solutions. There could be creative solutions come up in that time. There could be somebody says, I want to buy it and move it down the road, and then that's out of your way. There could be other things that happen. There could be they go back to their architect and they rework everything so it's much more palpable, much more pleasing, looks like whatever it might be.
Right.
So it gives time to kind of, rethink about this, not instead of just knocking it down.
And that's
Plus,
why
we have developers that come to the table, not just ready to deal, but with plans in place and say, look, this is what we want to do. We want to expand to the back. We want to convert this barn to other apartments. They're all going to be of a piece. They're all going to have the same external ambiance. We're going to restore this. We're going to restore that. And we make it happen. There's no delays involved because they know what we're looking for, and we know what they want to do, and it's a cooperative effort.
And when you have 180 delay, that really encourages the developer to just incorporate the building into their plans, and that's the best outcome for everyone. And then they get all kinds of zoning bonuses for doing that. So. That's why the 180 days, I'm telling you, all this language, all this stuff, to me, the only thing that really matters is the 180 days to really have an effect. It's nice to clean up the language and make the process more clear. But if I could have one thing, that's the only thing I would change. And we've done that twice already, inched it forward a little bit, and it makes a difference. So,
Bill?
I think John was going to talk. Oh,
No, that's okay.
The 21-day deemed file date, I think, is too short. Because a lot of this goes around and who meets when and where. I think, my opinion now, I'm not into writing this, but should be at least 30 days. So people, if for the commission to meet or whatever. So all of a sudden someone files it and it gets to Dana and you want to have a meeting and you can't get a meeting together, and all of a sudden the 21 days are gone. There's been no objection filed. 180 days are good. But I think you should also extend that so people could have a chance, or committees could have a chance to digest. And
I'll do you one better, Bill. I'd even go 45 days.
Well, whatever. I mean, I'm just saying it should be more. That's all I'm saying. 45 to 180. And I think the fine should be more, because you're going to say, if you see the report, well, I sent it to the mayor's office. I didn't do the 2025 yet, but there's a demolition report I send for the year. And on it, I have those that had the deemed file date and blah, blah, blah. You're going to see that 1 year, I think 100% were deemed okay, go ahead and demolish. That there was no significant, no reason to delay them in any way. And that the building was clear, to demolish within maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 days of filing. It didn't even get to the 21 days. But I think what happens is, and I think what Diane was referring to, I think, and I don't want to speak to her, but say she raises an objection, I think the people have to realize that the historical commission can overrule that objection because it's got to be a historic value, not a value of, well, there's an apartment house going here, or I don't want a big house next to my small house, or whatever. That is strictly for historical, because we had this happen when Brian McCann was the corporation counsel, and he had to interject with something, and I think it was something that Craig was doing on East Avenue here with one of the buildings, that it had the objection had to be for historic reasons only, not because you didn't want that to happen to that building for restoration. Bradford Craig Head, you probably are familiar with him and the work he's doing around the green, etc. So I think things like that, and I think the fine should be, I agree with Diane on the fine. So it's really, besides that you can't build for a year on that property, that excuse me, that the fine should be something to knock their socks off, so it doesn't happen. Think twice. And that's just me.
It becomes just the cost of doing business.
Right. Like I said, that's just me. So you write it, I'll enforce it.
No, just to clarify one thing that you mentioned, the 21 day, you thought that was too short. Was that just the objection window that you thought was too short? Okay.
Yeah.
So in the past, we would, a delay would be filed, and basically I'd get on the phone with Todd and we'd say yeah or no. And then later I realized that, the commission has to act as a commission, and we can't have a subcommittee making decisions, which is kind of unfortunate because yes, it's nice for us to expand it to 45 days, but I'm also sensitive to people who are trying to get things done, developers who are trying to get things done. The whole fear, I think, from people on the council of the 180 days is that you're just delaying for the sake of delaying. And that's not actually what we do. It's what could happen if you had irresponsible people, but we don't. But I don't want it. 45 days is that's a long time. It would be more convenient for us because we only meet once a month. But we could also do a special meeting. I don't know to the answer to that. I hate to add more time into the process to slow things down, because that doesn't create affordable housing for Norwalk. So I don't know the way around that, because since the whole commission has to look at it.
If you met within 20 days, you could lift it. That's just, you could shorten that all you want because you're the deciding factor. I mean, if I'm just using let's just say when you get this a property which is emailed to you and you decide in 10 days, it can come down. There's no historic value, that's your opinion as a committee. I could send an objection to you on the 25th day, and it makes no difference because you already decided. You are the committee because you received that immediately. The day it's filed, you get it. So that just gives you, I'm not saying you need 45 days to decide, but if you decided in 20 days, it's done. I don't care who files an objection. You've already made that decision. That's me. I'm just throwing an opinion out there. Once you make that decision, you can make it the day you get it. I send it to you, and so, oh, I know that property. That's not historical. They don't need this, and release it. So it could be done immediately, but it just gives somebody a little more time, not to object, but for you people to do your historic
Well,
valuation.
just to sort of respond to that, we are, as I think as you know, Bill, we are a citizen-driven commission where the complaints do come in or the comments do come in to us, and we respond to those. So to have some window of public accessibility to listen to or to see any, letters of opposition come in and requests for things to be altered or whatever, we do want to allow that window, I feel, to again allow those comments to come in. That also helps better inform us to make a decision after that 21 days and once the 120 days starts, or 180 days would start.
I do understand that, but I will tell you that literally 99% of the properties that come in, it's really obvious that they're not of historical.
Yeah,
That's fine. I mean,
Right.
it's still I preach it as good governance.
Yeah.
Even if we had it as one day, and we saw something that came in, it was like we saw that it was totally frivolous.
Yeah.
It's still good governance and transparency and accessibility that we need to uphold.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, which brings me to another point. So a lot of times we get an application for a demo permit, and we do, on some kind of basis, a number of us or a few of us or one of us or two of us do a little due diligence and look the property up and make a determination as to whether or not this has any kind of historic value that needs to be investigated further. Should we be publishing those as part of as an addenda to our meeting agendas to make it public notice, without people having to go into the building department to see who's filing intents to demolish, and to see what kind of demolition requests are coming to the commission, and what our determination is on the basis of that, and publish that as part of our meeting agenda, as an addenda.
So just so I'm clear on what you're recommending, is if an objection comes in and if we look at it,
No, if an application comes in,
yeah,
an intent to demolish, that we make that part of an addenda to our meeting on the public record.
I mean, I would say that would be sort of the antithesis of what drives our activity, which is citizen-driven sort of objections. And then we sort of go along this potentially a slippery slope of like, now do we have the desire to start landmarking things? Are then we the ones, then sort of in a way filing the objections? Do we have that power? So
Well, that's not even what I'm going at. I mean,
Okay.
because so a piece of crap that went up in 1972 that somebody wants to demolish, and so they file their intent to demolish. So we publish that, and that we've made our determination that this has no historic value, so that the public now sees what's coming through our door and how we are making our decisions based on our own due diligence. And how many intents to demolish are we getting on any given month, and how are we making that determination? Because if we're talking about transparency for the public, then we need to make this stuff accessible.
That just seems like good public record to me. So,
But wouldn't that already be done through the Department of Buildings?
It's kind
Yes,
of,
it would be done through the Department of Buildings, but not everything that goes through the Department of Buildings reaches the criteria of having to be looked at by the Historical Commission.
Or could it be part of the minutes that it could be read that these are the properties that we looked at and
that we've
a
received
list, and then
no
that's in the
objections.
minutes, and then it's in
Mhm.
the record?
Mhm.
And that we've received no objections, I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I like that
Bill
idea.
and I would think that's feasible. But in doing that, I think it would also make sense to change that window just to 30. So within that given month, it leaves it so you guys are able to
Yeah.
That's a great
object
idea.
if needed.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
1 day is like goes by in a flash. So
And
it
I'm
would be
sure
a separate category, I think, within the agenda. Yes.
Yes.
And if the 120 days that is there now is from the initial submission date, it's not added on to the 21 days if there were an objection.
mhm.
So if you had the 30, let's say, then at 120, you'd have 90 extra days, not another 120. Just so you understand that. It doesn't add on another 120 days. Goes to the initial deemed file date.
David, what do you think about that?
Longer you can extend it, the better.
Well, the 180 would be perfect. I mean, if that's what you want, because you'd have your 30, you have your 180. Now you know, you have that extra time.
Yeah.
But it goes to the initial date,
Mm-hmm.
deemed file date.
David, is the 180 sort of the gold standard for historic properties to be protected nationally?
Well, it is for Connecticut. That's what the state enabling statute allows. That's what most towns that have an ordinance, that's what they do.
Yeah.
For some reason, we tried to make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to sort of pose the sort of political question here, would we run into issues in the ordinance committee getting it passed at 180 days?
Well, I think the problem is getting them to understand how the process works, and showing them the historical data, because the concern seems to be that every single demolition request is going to be delayed 180 days plus 30 or 21.
Right.
Or whatever. And that's just simply not the case.
Right.
And statistics clearly show that. And we have to make sure we show them the process in an easy format, such as a flow chart, so that they understand it, because they clearly don't read what they're necessarily voting.
One thing that would be interesting that we can do is start tracking for our own metrics. Is every single time one of these comes through, is track how many days does it take to go from one point to the other.
Well, Michelle has pretty much done that.
Yeah.
And I think the thing we need to add to that is to put it in context, is for each year of the last 5 years, how many applications for delays were there? 'Cause
Right.
it just really shows you that it's just nothing. It's a 0.001% or something.
Yeah.
David, I could send you the
that would
demolition
be
report for the year, Dave. I could send you the 2025. I'm almost done with it. Demolition report. There wasn't one delay for the whole year. If I remember.
And that's
23, 24, the same. Very few. I mean, if any. And you might have had objections, but there was no delay imposed because it was considered not historical.
Yeah, and that's what's important to show. We need to show that history to the ordinance committee so they won't be so freaked out about
The only thing you don't want is they look at it and say, well, then why do we want to change it if we didn't have any issues? So that was the other.
Well, then the response could be to standardize ourselves with our neighboring municipalities.
Correct.
Statute.
Well, and we can explain to them why. I don't have any problem doing that. It's like we're the ones fighting the battle. You're gonna, we are the historical commission. You have given us this power. You rely on us and our judgment, and we're asking you to continue to do that. And we're telling you this is the most effective thing we need.
Although I would use the word authority rather than power.
Yeah.
Our granted authority that you approved.
But
It also
I've
goes
always
to
wanted to
the-
be king of the historical commission, Eric. What's the problem?
Well, where's your
I
crown?
used to act like it, didn't I, Lisa?
But it also goes to the point of, we're trying to better inform ourselves and help us understand certain architectural and historic things about the properties that come by, which is why we've also included this more sort of like the professionalized piece of it, where we have this third party independent review that'll help us make decisions faster and better.
Yeah.
And as the Hyatt House proves, man, once it's gone, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you remember that house across from the street from City Hall, Bill, years ago? And the guy demoed that on a Sunday too.
On Sunday.
Yeah,
But you
that's
remember
the
what
thing.
happened though? You remember though what happened though? What he was a Weisenheimer, that guy. When they said save the facade,
Yeah,
he
he put it in the
just
truck.
over in the corner. He said,
Oh my
"There's your
God.
facade." Remember that?
Yeah.
Coming
Yeah.
to work on a Monday morning, there's no building. That was all
That was
the doctor's offices
communication.
over there. Yeah, Doc Tracy's building. Yeah.
So what is our process to finalize the language for the ordinance? How do we do that as a group?
Well, there's
Well,
been
the-
I'll just add a staff organizational perspective. We have like a lot of edits swirling, and previously we had a subcommittee who put this draft together, which was Eric, Rich, and Jim Frere.
but
who's,
mostly Rich. Let's be honest about it. It's mostly Rich.
So we could continue in that route with the consensus of kind of how, I mean, I've jotted some notes here that it seemed like there was a consensus on maybe putting the intent to demolish on your regular agendas, changing that 21-day window to 30, and then changing the 180-day delay total with some like major ones you talked about tonight. There's some ones from Diane and from Todd Bryant to consider as well. So I know the fuller discussion on your agenda isn't on until old business. I know just because of the agenda structure, didn't really set it up to go chronological. That makes sense right now. But we could move your old business for B up to now, and we could further discuss some of the edits that came in.
Well, wait a
I'm not
minute, because we've got the folks from Lockwood Matthews hanging out here for their special appropriation request. Why don't we knock that out of the way so they can go home?
How about me?
Yep.
sure.
So moved.
Can I just throw one more thing at you before I leave?
Yeah.
It would behoove you, I think, if you had an engineer or architect who would be on call or whatever you wanted for your commission. Because if an architect or engineer states a building being unsafe, this all goes out the window.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I could argue all I want, but they're going to say, do you have that seal? And that's, the professional. I'm just talking experience. So to have somebody to refute somebody's letter of unsafe conditions, I think it's something you should investigate to have.
Bill, is there somebody in the city who can?
Again, I don't know. We never go to, because they don't get involved with projects as such because of probably the legalities of it, but I can't answer that. You'd have to go to Public Works where they have the PEs and if they would get into buildings safe or not.
Because we could add a line in the ordinance that said if a certified, whoever it is from Public Works or Department of Health or whatever, deems a building unsafe, then any decision we make regarding historic significance or whatever is null and void, and the property can be demolished.
Right, but I'm talking about if a client or whatever you wish to call them, an applicant does that. Say, I don't need this. This building is unsafe, and they have somebody write that letter, and you don't think it is unsafe. You need somebody to refute him.
Right.
But would the city do that? Because it's going to end up in court. I'm just saying, trying to be the devil's advocate, but I don't think they want to have their engineers going to court to get into an argument of safe or unsafe. So it should be somebody independent. That's my opinion. That's all, but it's just something you should be
Bill,
thinking about.
I had a question while you're still here. And this is not a demo delay. This is if the land has something about it which is of a historical significance. I don't know what. It could be like the Native Americans' watering hole was there. It could be that the Native American fort was there. Where's the place that that kind of information would go? Would it be on a field card, or can it get added to a field card? Attributes about a land that we wouldn't necessarily want to have it built on, that we could put a signage or do something like that.
I mean, there used to be an historic list. I think Ralph Bloom did one years ago, and I forget when that stopped. I have one in my office, and we used to refer to that right away for demo delay.
Lisa, good luck with that, because every year this country is losing historic battlefield sites to land developers. And there are organizations, the American Battlefield Trust, Civil War Preservation Trust, that collects funds to purchase those properties, to save them from the developers, and save historically significant buildings from the wrecking ball. So for us to try and do that on a local basis, if it is a Native American site that is historically significant, then you need to get the Native American tribes involved, because they will have a lot more pull with the state than we will as a historic commission.
Okay. I was just wondering, that's one, because I mean, I'm looking at it as a broad historic commission kind of a way.
Yeah.
Everything historical that we care about.
I also think a good tool that a lot of people that are researching properties is the deeds and the land records. So I'm not sure how you would require that or anything, but I know anybody that's looking into a property is going to be checking the land records. So it's a good tool to make sure anything of interest or is on there.
Couldn't we say any undeveloped lot of land or whatever that is being proposed for development? There must be some sort of historical review, and if there's any indication that it might indicate history of Native American presence or whatever, or Revolutionary War battlefield, whatever it may be, could that, in theory, at some point fall under our purview?
Potentially, I think that would need to. I don't know if there's enabling legislation.
We don't know everything.
That would allow that.
We don't and Diane Cece said it should all come from the commission. I disagree. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there, owners or other people with more knowledge, also that shouldn't be so defined like everything comes from us, because we don't know everything.
No, we should not be an investigative body. We should be a clearinghouse, is what we should be. David, as I recall, once upon a time, when the museum was in the old city hall, there were file cabinets and file cabinets of title searches that were being done on a block by block basis. Do you recall that? And do you have any idea where they went?
They're at the library. They're at the history room in Belden Avenue. And when the house comes up, we go and look there. And when we do a survey, when we get a grant to do a survey for, we can get $20,000 to look at 200 buildings. We put all that information there, as well as I think last time we put it on the GIS system too. But and we should be doing those on a regular basis, but somebody has to get the grant and administer it.
Do you recall the last time that was? I mean, is that just kind of fallen off the wagon?
Yeah, it fell off the wagon. 2015, 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, we should be doing that. give
Hey,
Michelle.
how about a Boy Scout Eagle project?
You have to have it has to be from a list of qualified people that SHPO
All right.
has, and SHPO has to
Yeah.
approve it and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's the whole thing.
So are we all set with Bill? He's gonna head out.
So thank you, Bill.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bill.
Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you,
Very
Bill.
Thanks, Bill, for coming.
Take care, guys. Any questions, you know where I am in the office. It does. Thank you.
So, Lockwood Matthews? Doug, you still awake, or is it past your bedtime?
No, I'm awake. Oh God, no, this is not my bed. No, I'm sorry. Outside of this, as a Norwalk lifetime resident and having worked with Dave, you're talking, this is like deja vu. I'm listening to this whole discussion and the arguments about the demo delays because I was on when they first actually initiated it. Then it made a second round, then it made a third round. And then I remember when David came in looking for the money to try and make get a better grip on our historical list of buildings. So I'm sitting here going, I remember that. I remember that. So, it's
Doug,
been interest.
Doug, this is my fourth term on the commission, so I've heard it a bunch too.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right.
Okay, so are we ready to cover this?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. You should have in your packet. I think we've talked about several times now about our concerns about the conservatory and the mansion. I did drive by today and look, and fortunately it did not fall down, even though it has a pile of snow on top of it. We added the amazing handyman, Mike at Lockwood Matthews Mansion, put in some support beams on the interior at all the main points to hold it up. But it's obviously not a sustainable solution. The conservatory was sometime in the 70s, a big branch fell on it and broke it. And there was a big project that was well documented where the glass was replaced by plastic that is since discolored, and it looks pretty awful. Anyway, and about 15 years ago, we actually did replace the support beams, which have now rotted again on the inside. That was one of the earlier projects I was involved in. So it's just time to fix it and fix it correctly. We think it's going to cost total project somewhere in the range of $1.5 to $1.75 million. And I put that amount in the capital budget request for 26-27. The problem with that is that, we have to sit around and wait till July 1, assuming the money gets approved, to start the project. And we really just need to get started on it. So we would like to get a special appropriation of $275,000 of that $1.75 million to get the council to go ahead and approve that, so we can go ahead and have the architects, researchers, and engineers start on the research and the design and engineering work necessary to get the project off the ground, so that hopefully we're in a position to go out to bid near July 1 and get the work done and just get the project replaced before the conservatory does fall down. So that's what this request is. The idea for this actually came from Barbara Smith, the mayor. When I talked to her about this project, she's like, well, you need to do a special appropriation because you need to get started now. So whether or not the council will support, that's another thing, but we'll sell them on it. And I think it's pretty reasonable. Not a surprise, I've mentioned it in numerous meetings with the CFO, and I just want to get this moving. So if the commission does approve it, we'll need Michelle to figure out what the process actually is, because in all my years, I've actually never done a special appropriation capital request. And I'm so thankful that we have Michelle to help us figure that out.
It sounds like Michelle was going to pay for it out of her own pocket.
It's pretty much like going through the whole capital budget process.
Yeah,
It just,
probably.
it's the same, you gotta go all the same people.
Yeah.
But you're going in for special appropriation. It's got to ID which account they're taking the money out of.
Yep.
But it's pretty much a mirror of what you're going through now. Those, asking for everything.
So that's the deal. Any questions? And then we'll just need a motion in a second, and we can vote on it.
So David, the commission's role is just to approve the request and then it goes through process.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the funding comes from the 275 comes from where?
The city.
The city
fund.
Okay. So
Yeah.
not from our own commission budget, which
We don't have it really. I don't have
I
it
didn't
to
think
take
so.
from anything else.
Okay.
So.
So Dave, I guess you're probably the best position to craft the language for the motion.
Sure. We would need a motion to request a special appropriation from the city in the amount of $275,000 for research, architectural design services, and engineering to replace the conservatory at the Lockwood Matthews Mansion.
Moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
Vote.
All those in favor?
All in favor?
Yay.
Thank you. All right.
Doug, would you like to vote too?
I wish I could.
He's going like this.
The old days I could, but anymore.
All right.
Thank you very much for it. And Dave, remind me, we got to talk about. I'm worried about the sprinklers heads that are in there because they're on the water system. They're not a dry system.
Okay.
And if that fell, they're going to go off.
Great.
Yeah. So we'll talk. Thank you very much. Thanks for all you do for the city. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug.
Good night, Doug.
Thank you. Thanks, Doug.
So Michelle, if you could figure out who we need to go to, and land use comes up like next week. I don't know if we need to get on that or what. I don't know who you see first. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna go to P&Z and then it makes its way up to council.
okay.
Approves all the budgets, I believe.
Just let me know. I'll come to all the meetings.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay, old business. Item A is elections to elect chairman and officers.
Well, is there?
So are we nominating people for chair, vice chair? Is that
Yeah.
those two positions?
Yeah.
Who's not here?
Mark.
So Dana, I think you've done an amazing job. And I'm guessing you're probably sick of it, doing it. And I would
Not
nominate,
completely.
I would nominate Rich Stein to be chair.
I would second that. He looks so proud.
You're all too very kind.
And would Eric be willing to give up his position as vice chair,
I would.
which then I could take
Okay.
by force? No, just kidding. Don't write that down.
Apparently.
I would think that Rich would benefit from your experience, Dana. I think
Absolutely.
that would be a good move.
That would be great.
And you
to
would
you
have
as
the
a-
support of everybody. I mean, Dave is a huge knowledge bank.
And I don't never want to
Lisa
do
has
it
a lot of
again, so
underpinnings in the
let's
city.
make
I
it
mean,
clear.
you'd have a lot of support.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you all so much. I'm looking forward to my newfound authority as the term that we're now choosing.
You mean power, right?
Yes.
King
Where's
of the
my-
Historical Commission.
Where's my crown?
You didn't use the word power.
And that's for just the minutes, that's a unanimous decision. Everybody's in favor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I figured, but just so it's in the
Do you
recording.
need us to raise our hand?
Sure. Yay.
So I abstain from my own anointing?
Rich, I don't want to disappoint you, but there's not really all that much glory, but
I know.
And the nice thing too is between
Yes.
Dana and David, they know all the people that need to be contacted for stuff. So if you need to know who needs to be contacted up in Shippo and Hartford and whatever,
Yeah.
or in the city, they are your address book.
Great.
Now, do you have a copy of tonight's agenda, Rich?
On my laptop, I do. Yeah, on the computer.
Okay, because we're down to the last thing, which is proposed amendments to the demo delay. And I have one language thing that I would like to bring up under the 55-1 purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in the last line. Attempts to find a purchaser who will retain or remove. I think we need relocate, because relocate and relocation is what's used elsewhere in the document.
Well, I would move to do relocate for sure.
Is there a date by which this document needs to be completed?
I mean, I don't think there's a standing date. I know we would like to get this to the ordinance committee sooner rather than later. It's just been floating out there for way too long now.
Yeah.
I think literally a year ago, or I think it was February last year, was my very first commission meeting when this was brought up. So, we've been hemming and hawing away at it. So the sooner we can get to the ordinance committee, the better.
I have, read through it, but I haven't suggested any edits, and I don't know that I would, but I should probably take a look through that and then let you know if I find anything.
Feel free to email me if you have any questions. We've been, like I said, been chipping away at this for a while, but until we can go to the ordinance committee, we're still in draft mode.
Right.
We're certainly a lot closer. I think we made some good progress tonight. But
Michelle, I can go into that document and suggest edits.
Yes, there is
I don't know if there's a live document.
part of the agenda. I think it auto converts it into a PDF, but I could send out the Word doc.
So I have the Word doc. I have a DOCX doc that I don't know if it was sent this time or last time.
Yeah, but if you have any edits, whatever's easiest for you, and then we can kind of meld it all together at the end.
And Michelle, have you been adding suggestions from the public meeting at the last time around? No.
No, I haven't touched the actual drafted copy by the subcommittee. I have put together a memo that articulated a synopsis of all the comments we have received from the public that
Right.
I was looking for you guys to weigh in on at some
Okay.
point.
Yeah. All right.
I would
Well,
like to. Oh, sorry, Johnny.
I was just going to say, I'll put some time aside over the next week or two to just comb through the document myself and see if there's any suggested edits I would put in. The track changes will show what those are. And then I guess, we need to look at what the public weighed in with and the 180 that David's brought up and then just get it done, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll keep it open for right now as you guys continue to digest some of the comments and review the drafts. And then maybe at your next meeting, we can kind of go either person by person or even all the public comments. I know Todd Bryan's were pretty specific, so coming up with a decision what to implement or not would be pretty straightforward. And then some are kind of, what we can continue to discuss.
Michelle,
We're
can you
circling the drain.
Yeah. Michelle, can you circle around the next batch of upcoming ordinance committee meetings so that we can maybe have some target dates?
Sure. Yeah, I've been working with Brian Kindell from the law office, who's the staff for that ordinance committee. So he knows we've been working on this for a while, and we've kind of been like holding a place in line to come to them. So he knows we're gonna be wanting to get on their agenda at some point.
Yeah.
So he believes will be a priority.
And are we going to have to present to the ordinance committee or to the full council? I just want to understand sort of what we need to prepare for, questions from the council and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it would be helpful to have one or a couple of you at the ordinance committee meeting. We'll get a spot on the agenda. Usually, we'll have a spot to present, which I think, as David was indicating, I feel like a big like educational like flow chart. Like this is, the research, the data to really support what we're putting out there, and that's when that will occur.
Yep.
Having built, go ahead, David.
I was going to say, I still think we should think about requesting a joint meeting with the ordinance committee. It's for the full commission. Because they need to pay attention to this. They need to understand. And I think they need to have some confidence in us. And they need to know we're serious about this. Because I just think it was, I wasn't there. I didn't look at the meetings, but they clearly didn't give it its due last time around.
Would this be like an official meeting with the ordinance committee, or would this be okay?
Yeah, have a joint meeting.
Okay.
And it sounds like at that meeting, it would be helpful to have 3 to 5 years of data showing how many requests there were and what happened.
Yep, absolutely. And John, as you read the draft, I think it would be really helpful, because you're a new set of eyes, to really look at this from the standpoint of, can the average person read this and understand the process? Because maybe we need to tweak it in that way. And I think you would.
I'll do that. Yeah. I have many years as a grant writer, so my common language has been destroyed by grant speak, but I'll do my best.
So
John, between your grant writing and my legislative writing, I think we can really just confuse a hell of a lot of people.
And I spent 33 years in real estate underwriting, so my legalese.
Let's write the most complex law we can think of.
Your target is like a third grade level, I think, on this one.
That just got recorded, David.
I don't care.
I could call my grandsons in to see what they think.
Strike all of that, Michelle.
It can't.
All right. Are we at that time of the meeting?
Yeah. John, would you like to call for the adjournment?
Oh, God, I'd love to.
I'll relinquish my spot calling for the adjournment.
It is 8:45, and given that we have completed all of our work,
I second.
All right.
All right. How can you miss me if I don't go away?
Hey, the next time that you guys see me, I'm going to have a little infant next to me.
Wow! Congratulations!
Oh, nice.
Thank you. So we are about 2.5 weeks out.
Is this your
So
first?
this is my first, yeah.
Oh,
Congratulations, Ruth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
So
Exciting.
hopefully she won't be crying during the meeting, or she'll be asleep.
Oh, she'll be fine.
She'll be crying.
Asleep at this point.
Can she read through the legislation?
Oh, what?
Probably.
We're gonna try it.
We're going to get her trained early.
All
Thanks,
right, everybody.
Michelle.
Okay.
All right.
Good night, Michelle.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.